Thanks, everyone, for being here today. Very exciting times. Thanks, David, for joining us. You're the CTO of one of the world's largest financial institutions. I mean, the scale and scope, I think, really signify the opportunity and the challenges of your job. Can you talk a little bit about that? How do you implement an AI culture at an institution such as Citi?
Sure, thank you, and very happy to be here. Citi's a big old place. So we are the world's global bank. We're in around 90 countries in the ground. We have customers in around over 160 countries. We have 250,000 employees everywhere. So thinking about how you and how we would approach the rollout of AI in an impactful way at that scale, I'd be very thoughtful about it. I think there are a few things. So one, and it is stating the obvious, but it's really worth stating, it is technology and its people. We know that just creating a great technology platform, putting it in front of people and saying, hey, do magical things with it is insufficient. So we've really had to invest in our people, our culture, our training, our awareness of the tools, but also more than that. I mean, naturally, AI, we're all in this room like super excited by the potential, but of course, for a lot of people, there's trepidation. It's like, how do I engage with AI? What is it going to mean for me? Can I use it? What's it going to mean for my job, for my teams? So what we've absolutely spent time on is creating that and igniting a demand for AI by getting people excited by it. So we have, within the overall organization, 4,200 AI accelerators, like super enthusiasts for AI all around the world. And you go to Singapore, you go to Budapest, you go to Pune, wherever it is, you get people stopping you and showing you what they've done. And they show us, which is amazing, but they show their colleagues. And we've created this, and there's a fantastic team in the AI accelerator cohort that create these short bite-sized videos. So we've got this compendium that's growing of just people doing cool stuff with the tools. And it's great. And it's really taking the fear away. And people do it and say, oh my goodness, that really boring thing that used to take me all of Friday morning is now done in 10 minutes with AI. It's excellent. So that leadership challenge, really, taking people through the change, is more than 50% of the battle. Of course, we've invested in a very deliberate AI platform. At our scale, if we left everyone to their own devices, we would honestly have 10,000 different AI solutions, AI platforms, vendors probably, which is really hard to control and reason about. Because the other thing we really, really wanted to do was to scale out AI, really democratize access to it. We didn't want it to be this elite group somewhere that was for solving the AI problem on everyone else's behalf. Create a tool, get it out responsibly, safely, and then learn from it, from what people are doing with it. And our approach of having a very simple, single platform meant that we could have a very cross-functional governance function around it, with legal, with risk, with cybersecurity, data privacy, all those other things we have to do, and move forward efficiently, because we only had to have a conversation around one platform. So I think between those two things, a simple platform that was very powerful, and in this investment in our culture, our people, our training, we've achieved a lot. So we rolled out initially to 11 countries back in January. We're now at 83 countries. Over 180,000 people have access to the tools. And we're really proud to say that over 100,000 of those people are frequent users. Like, 60% recurrent users are coming into the tools. And what was a really great data point that we discovered, that when we've onboarded countries recently, they've reached the same level of adoption in 4 weeks that was taking 4 months with our first rollout, because there's so much enthusiasm and excitement for them now. So the ball's really, really rolling.
Do you think that continues to shorten that 4 weeks?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody, and it's a really high-class problem, as people say, in terms of the countries that don't have the tools really want them. I mean, there's so much demand. So, of course, when it's there, people are using them straight away. And we've built that muscle about how to get the value out of these tools. So much less blank canvas syndrome. People can now go in, look at these videos, look at people living in other countries, and immediately get the benefit of the tools as we roll them out.
And so to your point, talent is such a huge part of the organization. And we in financial services know there's always a war for talent. It certainly is pretty intense at the moment. Talent and innovation are two of the areas where Citigroup ranked very high on the Evident AI Index. So maybe you can share a little bit about what your talent strategy is and how you are getting the best talent.
Yeah, actually, this is kind of a great situation for us because we are where the rubber hits the road. We have these amazing AI models that have been created by these incredible research labs over the world. But it's really companies like ours that are putting them to work. So the people that come to work with Citi on AI implementations really get to do the fun stuff. You're getting these incredible models, which are very, very effective, very fast to use and implement solutions, and they're putting them to work in real business problems. So the insight that people get when they come to work at Citi on AI is just unparalleled. That your view into this incredible bank we have, all of the businesses we operate within, all the countries. Nobody else can see that. It's just us. So people come to our place and they're so proud of what they build. And I would say what's really great about all of the AI models today, and I've mentioned it already, but it's worth emphasizing. But within 1 week, you can produce something pretty amazing. They're so quick to develop. So the return you get as a creative engineer is just huge. I had an amazing idea. I've done something mind-blowing with an AI model. I'm now taking it to production through controlled guardrails, the Citi AI platform. And the reward you get for that creative output is immense. So we're doing quite well. And I think, we're not going to compete trying to hire the world's best AI researchers, but we do partner with the world's leading AI research labs, and that's a very, very deliberate strategy for us.
Great, and maybe it would be great for the audience to hear a little bit more about some of the tools at Citi. So you have two main firm-wide enterprise tools, Citi Stylus Workplaces and Citi Assist.
Yep.
So perhaps talk a little bit about those and where you're really creating some of the value.
Yeah, for sure. So within the overall Citi AI platform, what we've done is we've created a very simple layer that sits in the middle, does all the things that you would want around authentication, entitlement, logging, telemetry, monitoring costs. Like a really serious concern for hopefully everyone in this room. And so what we've done there is we've built a whole suite of tools on top of that. So we've got Stylus Workspaces, which is this amazing tool where you can go into. It integrates with Citi systems, so you can pull data out of internal project management systems, global directory, of course does web search, other things. And if you want to work on content creation, drafting, honestly, the diverse set of use cases that we see with this is incredible. You go to Workspaces. And the adoption rate of that is massive. And this is a tool that we're really proud of for many reasons, but the one thing that we're happiest with. So when we released it in January, it did like 4 things, like Q&A, summarization, translation, and a 4th thing. I can't remember either. But now it does like... it will come to me, but probably in about half an hour.
Okay.
So, but now it does many things. There's like 40 or 50 presets in it. It's got web search, let's say integrations, and there's loads more coming. So what our people have seen is we'll release something, they'll give us feedback, and then we'll improve it. And so we're really motoring up this curve of capability, and that's built a huge amount of trust and excitement with our people because they know they've tried the tool, they can come back in a month and it does something new, and that's great. So the engagement with the products has been fantastic because of that. Citi Assist is comparison. That was the 4th thing. Citi Assist is more of a helper. So our objective with Citi Assist is it just sits in Teams, but it knows all about Citi. So we're loading all of our policies, procedures, how-tos, guides. We're starting to integrate it into incident management systems like ServiceNow and Jira and other things. So you just want to know something quick and transactional, you go to Citi Assist. And every week I'll go into it and ask it a set of test questions. And initially it would help with like 1 or 2 of them. Half the other time it would say it didn't know, which is really great. It doesn't make stuff up. It tells you it doesn't know. And now you go in and ask it questions and it's genuinely really, really helpful. So Citi Assist is more your day-to-day, Workspace is the more involved AI work you need to do. We've then got a whole set of other things that we've done around simplifying creation of documents, so document drafting things. We have this all over the bank. People spend a lot of time creating PowerPoints. And so any AI to eliminate that problem is put it at the top of the list. So we've got some technology to do that, pulls data from different data sources. You can put it in like a templated format. It will just issue out a PowerPoint. And it's the one tool, actually, we show people, and I'm always surprised by how everyone says, that's the one I want. That's the one I want. But I would say if anyone can help us make prettier PowerPoints, that would be amazing, because there's still a last mile there where you have to kind of go in yourself to do it. That's that. And then, of course, as part of our overall organization, we've got around 30,000 developers, and they've been a really priority sort of group to give AI capability to. So we built a bunch of things there, code review, documentation, significant capacity. We've done over 1 million code reviews in our AI platform. But we've also invested in other vendor products, actually, so things like Cognition's developer we have there. And we're yielding a huge return there. So we've seen, things that would take 28 days before can be done in a day. We've seen real multiples of productivity for a certain class of problem, and it isn't everything, but with AI for developers. So seeing a huge return on the investment there.
And you recently did a pilot across like 4,000 or 5,000 users. I think it was 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming PowerPoints were a highlight there, but can you talk about other highlights in terms of use cases, any issues that were uncovered? What were the learnings from that?
So in Stylus Workspaces, we deployed something called agent mode, where you can click a button, and Stylus is now able to, it's worth quickly defining what an agent is, as per our conversation earlier. For us, an agent is very simple. You give it a goal, you get a plan to complete that goal. It's a complex, non-trivial, multi-step goal. You say OK to the plan, and then the agent will go off and it will take the actions necessary in that plan to complete the task. Doesn't matter whether they're read or write or whatever else, but that's kind of our definition. So we enabled that feature in Workspaces, and it's been really interesting. So on average, I think there's 17.7 agentic runs a month. That's what people are doing. The costs are really interesting. The average is less than $1 per agentic run, but some of them are up to $30 where they're doing really complex things. So we're learning a lot. In terms of the feedback that we're seeing and what people are using it for. And maybe it's a bit of a tech term, but it's kind of like map-reduced problems, where you've got a set of documents that you want to work on. Say you've got some research documents you want to go through, you want to extract some specific information, you want to overlay something from the internet, you want to craft a memo. If you were to do that without AI, you're going to be spending a couple of days doing it. You want to do it just with Stylus, step by step, pre-agent mode, probably going to take you half a day. Now it will be done in 20 minutes. You'll have to go in and maybe edit and review the output. But it's really great. It's this move from more of a synchronous way of working to a little bit more asynchronous. But it's all very safe and controlled, and that's what we really like about this implementation, because the output of the agent is only issued back to you in Stylus. It's not sent anywhere. So the risk is always very low. A lot of citations back to the sources and how it actually happened. We're getting what we want from this pilot. We're learning what people need to get even more value from it. And it's unsurprising, really. They want more Citi context, more Citi systems available. And we want the ability to run our agents, in a more sort of scheduled way, more virtual way. And so we're working on both of those things at the moment, and the next couple of weeks, more to come. So, it's going pretty well.
And were there any differences just in terms of, was it more popular among any different demographic, geographic, business line? Any insights there?
It's a good question. We probably haven't rolled it out broadly enough to make sort of regional sort of differentiations yet. It's pretty popular in tech, where project managers style roles. people who might, have, for example, spend their time getting information from Jira, compiling a status update. It's actually pretty helpful at taking care of some of that for you. So that adoption's been pretty good. We also think there's amazing opportunities in the front office too, in research, sales and trading workflows, and other things also. So yeah.
And how are you thinking about quantifying some of these learnings, like in terms of where is the best ROI for your incremental dollars of investment? We
still believe the highest ROI investment is with developers, simply because I've said this before, but the AI models are so incredible at coding. They really, really are. Whether they're the models from Google or OpenAI or Anthropic, highly optimized for coding output. And they're getting better all the time. The latest releases from the providers continue to really excel. So you're getting a great capability, and our ability to orchestrate them in an agentic way in a very controlled workflow. And that's the lovely thing about a developer environment. You've got a build system, you've got malware scanning, you've got source control, you've got this amazing framework that means that when you deploy AI, and even agentic AI, you've got a whole bunch of guardrails and controls out of the box. So you've got an amazing capability and a ready-made set of guardrails. That's where we're seeing the return. So I would say that's number one. And then it all becomes a bit more diffuse, because then you start to think about AI in more operational scenarios. And of course, you've got some large populations there, so in call centers and things like this. But then if you look at our institutional operations teams, it's much more variable. What you're doing in our services business may be different to our markets business. So there it's less sort of one killer implementation. It's how you solve for a more heterogeneous operational set of use cases. So we feel that investing in that platform and things like Stylus, Agent Mode, and other things will give us that leverage.
Okay, and you've talked about the fact that completing several tasks at once in a very complex environment has been a real game changer for AI. Can you dig into that a little bit more and talk about some of the use cases there?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's moving from this model of synchronous way of working to an asynchronous way of working. And with something that's asynchronous, and as I mentioned before, you can run in the background. You don't have to, stepwise guide. And of course, something can happen asynchronously and autonomously, but still have no real-world side effects. It can just be sort of complex and multi-step. So anytime then you can let something happen in the background, you get an efficiency. Of course, you've got to be really, really solid on your runtime environment for these asynchronous agentic systems. You've got to have a really good cloud story. We've invested heavily in our private cloud environment. Got a massive deployment internally. We've got some great cloud partners that we work with. So making sure that things like your serverless infrastructure is in a good spot, so that you've got a very, very scalable way of scaling up, scaling down agents as you need them. So you get an efficiency from a human perspective, but you then need to support that with infrastructure to operate your AI. And that model is very generalizable. Anywhere where you have a human taking a multi-step task and it's not overly complex or doesn't require like a super, super deep research or rather particular expertise, you can probably hand off to an agent. You can run that agent now in a scalable infrastructure, and you're exchanging human cost for like runtime infrastructure cost. So that's the direction of travel.
And I guess given those comments, is your investment in cloud a competitive advantage or differentiator?
Yeah, for sure. When we think about agents, it's really important to us that we have a portability around them. For us and our scale, it is not really going to work to like just choose one particular vendor to be our agent sort of solutions provider. So for us, we want to run agents in our environment. So we're really, really keen on open source solutions around that. And what we have found is some of the open source or agentic frameworks are really maturing to a point of stability, We've gone through iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, which you probably need to get to with any sort of open source library to get something that's like minimal and clean. So the current versions are pretty good. And we have, as I say, this private cloud infrastructure now. We have over 600,000 more CPUs globally, around the world, every data center that is now just ready-made to run our agents in. So yeah, that's been a great bit of pre-planning.
And maybe I'll just add a question, because we've been talking a lot about the opportunities, but from the risk standpoint, data quality is so important.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a highly regulated entity. Cyber is something I know that you are very focused on, cyber risks. Can you talk about how you're managing those?
Yeah, I mean, data quality is, of course, huge. I mean, you've got model risk. We all know about hallucinations of AI models, but it is still it is an issue. I mean, I myself have had experience with consumer apps, not Citi ones, that have made up stuff when I've asked for help, and it is quite shocking when you see it. So I think everyone should be focused on the hallucination issue, because the one thing that's very obvious to me is poor customer service from a human is very different to poor customer service from an AI. Because for a poor customer service from a human, it's unhelpful, but you know where you are at least. Poor customer service from an AI is misleading. So I think everyone should still be super focused on the model output hallucination issue. It's of critical importance, because if we don't collectively solve that as an industry, we're going to get a huge consumer pullback from engaging with any kind of AI. So I think that's important. Data quality, for sure. The output of a model is only as good as the data you put in, even at inference and runtime. But I would also actually just touch on your last point, cybersecurity. In a world of agents, we've never cared more about authentication and entitlement. On whose behalf is the agent operating? For how long should the agent have that entitlement? If it does something unexpected, well, whose fault is that? So our ability to reason about not only like a logical security model, but then to implement it deeply when you have an agent that may be talking to many systems within the company is of paramount importance. So for us right now, we spend a lot of time thinking about the issues around cybersecurity so that we can safely move forward with agents. It's a really major concern for everyone.
Okay. And so we're almost out of time, but maybe I'll leave it on a forward-looking question. So if we meet again 3 years from now, and hopefully we'll see each other before that, because there's so much happening at such a dynamic pace. But if we do speak a few years from now, what does the fully agentic AI empowered Citi look like?
Yeah.
Well, and maybe just to add to that, what is going to differentiate the winners versus the laggards?
Yeah, it's a great question. A few years out is hard to imagine with the progression of AI at the moment, but I'll give it a go. I mean, as I said at the beginning, Citi is the world's global bank. It's just unparalleled in our footprint. We're going to find that clients are just going to love doing business with us. It's going to be an absolute pleasure. It's going to be really easy to onboard. We're going to be really reactive to their questions and queries. We're going to instantaneously satisfy their needs when they need services from us. We're going to be more proactive too. We're going to know a lot more about the client, so we're going to be able to make great recommendations on what to do next. So we're going to be able to guide towards opportunities, but also going to be able to advise on risks. And that's really great. And maybe every other bank does that as fast as we do. But what they don't have is this unique insight into the global economy. So when we do advise our clients, we're going to have an absolutely unique global perspective. So the decisions that our clients will make will be informed by this unique worldview. And I think that's going to compare pretty favorably to other banks.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. And with that, we will turn it over to the next panel.
Thank you. My pleasure.